Time job and I'm well paid. And everybody they hate you. Ain't even trying to impress you. Tell me where you got that head, dude. No shoes, pants too. Go ahead and say what you want. Blurt it. Everything I got, I'ma flaunt. Earn it. Cooling off quick in the bin. Skirt it. Pics of my body on the web. Pervert it. Checking my OF side through. IG DMs all new. Sending back pics like thank you. Gotta pull my camera out, but get distracted like, oh, I'm so pretty. Look at me. I'm a masterpiece. Got my nails done when I walk. Everybody freeze. Looking tip top. Keeping shape like an athlete. I deserve the best cause I love who I really be. Look how I move. My hips be right in the groove. Now these honeys wanna boogie like it's 72. They say the pudding is proof. That's why I put it to use. Yeah, I'm so expialidocious, but you already knew. Look at my wrist, look at my clothes, look at my back, follow your road. It's that new.
Clap your hands.
We sailing this home. Take it on in, bring it on back.
No, I was kidding.
I just glanced in the rear view to see where we at. And I'm like, oh, I'm so pretty. Look at me, I'm a masterpiece. Got my nails done when I walk. Everybody freeze, looking tip top, keeping shape like an athlete. I deserve the best cause I love who I really be.
Quit trying to act like I'm a DJ or something. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I was listening to that song before I came on and I didn't want to stop. Good morning. How are you, Atmosphere? AKA Guns. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I ain't doing much of nothing. I just ate breakfast. I normally don't even eat this early, but I was hungry this morning, so I figured I'd try something different. Yeah, I went out this morning for a little while, turned a couple corners, got a couple dollars. I'm just trying to do it a little at a time, whatever. However it come, I'm going to get it. That's how I look at it. I need to stop talking about it and be about it because I ain't started doing nothing except for them 2 boxes I carried with me over the weekend. I'm going to look up and I'm going to have 7 days and I'm going to be running out of here like a bat out of hell. Hey, DJ. What's up? Woo. Lord have mercy. How you doing this morning, sir? Besides trying to get people stopped by, people trying to make people make dog pages for their dogs. It's actually an amazing day today. It's like 78 degrees. That is such a welcome change. Oh my God. So waking up to being already 85 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning. I feel lovely too. Like, I don't know what it is about the day. I think yesterday I had an emotional start, which I'm probably gonna have those often, but that's in my DNA. But I had an awakening finish to my day. I guess I could say somewhat awakening because I think a lot of times we don't realize. I think I did a video on that about what's in your hand, utilizing what you have already. But in another sense of that is what we already have access to. A lot of times when we have access to, we are constantly looking for it, constantly looking for that encouragement. You'll hear people that feel they are the stronger character to say, well, who encourages the encourager? Not realizing that they probably got somebody encouraging them all the while, just a lot. I think we don't pay attention to the little things, the finer things in life. I think most people will look at the finer things in life as having Gucci and Louis and, a little bit of bread or whatever. But what if the finer things were the smaller things that we didn't pay attention to that actually make up the goodness of all of those things? The finer things, as in the the size of the grain, the fine grade of sandpaper, fine. Hey, Cece, let me turn my air on hot. And I was man, who you talking? Oh, Cece, I'm about to say, man, I'm about to say it'd be like 50,000 people in KB's chat. I'll be wondering, did anybody speak to me that normally speak? No, I'm just kidding. Nah, but seriously, what I was thinking about when I of course, everything is usually sometime a play off of YouTube. Because I was thinking about when people say they in the bushes or they've been in the bushes or they be shouting out the bush watchers, and I think that's what prompted me to think about it. Well, which caused me to equate it to a bush. I was listening to Mom's live last night, and he was just talking about how we often try to do things all by ourselves and things, and not really realize that number one, we need support, and number two, if I had to add to that, it would be like support is good, and support comes in all forms. It doesn't have to be that person that hands you some money. Sometimes it's just that person that walks alongside of you silently. Just the fact that they're there is the support. That would be one of those finer things I think we take for granted, because we're always looking for that support to be something we can actually touch, feel, not realizing that if that person wasn't walking next to us the whole time, we probably would have been done gave up. Sometimes it is better for a person to support you by listening, not necessarily interjecting or having an input. But then there's the other side of it, like DJ said, that person that comes with that advice that supports your life and the things that you're going through. And it doesn't have to be just your accomplishments that you're trying to reach, but just life in general. We have other things besides work that we need support in. We need support, yes, at when we're going through everyday life and dealing with our job. We have children we need support with. Yes, sometimes we do need financial support. Sometimes we need support just to keep our mind on a level playing ground so that we are able to have a clear vision of what's in front of us so that we navigate through it properly. Support can be in the form of affirmation. I know that my love language is words of affirmation. You can put all the money that you want in a bag for me. If you're not affirming me, I'm not even really, I appreciate the bag, but hey, am I doing good? Do it look all right? Am I doing a good thing? I like that. That's where that gives me motivation. I used to always say that if my mother had affirmed me a little more, and it wasn't that she didn't, I don't think she really knew how. That's the realization I had to come to, is that our parents teach us what they know how to do. Yes, some of them learn some things along the way and they're able to teach us other things, but we are usually learning what they have to teach us. So we can't look at it as bad. We have to look at it as this is what they had and this is what they gave us. And that's all we need. But I would have loved to hear her say, oh yeah, you want to move to Cleveland? Good, I got your back. Instead of, you're going to go up there and have to bring your ass back. You got this. It took until I moved to South Carolina for me to get what I wanted to hear my mother say. My kid's father, I used to be big on the Detroit scene doing hair shows and things, and he didn't understand that. So when it's time for me to get ready for the shows, you got to pay a little money to get in and get your little costumes and outfits ready and get your little tape, your little music ready for your presentation. And if a person isn't in your field and just not naturally supportive of what you're trying to do, or understand that you do need support in that thing, it looks like Why you doing all that? You always running up the road to do them hair shows. But those things were stepping stones for me to get to the big stage, which I did get to. It took a long time, but I got there. I would have loved to hear him say, "Look at my baby going up there doing them hair shows. She working to get on the front of that CD. She gonna be on the front of that DVD." When I got on the front of my DVD up in them Detroit shows, I stopped doing them because that was a goal. It would have been a wonderful thing if he had been like, "I support you. What we need, here's the money." Well, he did help me a little bit with the money, even though he just didn't understand what I was doing. My dad did say, "I'm proud." He didn't say he's proud of you until you were in your 30s. Yeah, that's that support. Number one, that's the first support you want. Your first line of support is your parents. And so many, I think that we are probably blessed to have had, parents that were active, whether they knew how to show us what they thought of us or felt in that moment. Some people don't have it at all. You ever had a friend that their parents called them little MFs and just no love whatsoever? I couldn't imagine a life like that. So I would take my mother's not understanding, so not necessarily supporting the thing versus just not giving a damn, those parents that say, "Well, shit, when you 18, you out of here." I don't know what I would do if my parents was like that. I need support, And so when I was thinking about this bush thing, I was thinking about the ram in the bush in the Bible, It's when as Abraham was going to the mountain to sacrifice his son or whatever, and just before he was about to lay him out, boom, ram in the bush. In the bush. And so I got tickled when I started thinking about that, because we always talking about the bushes, But I was thinking about a situation where when I was driving home the other day, and we was on here just talking about an array of different things, and I was just like, in my mind, I'm like, I have a good 4 weeks to do everything I need to do. And I'm sitting here like, oh my goodness. I still haven't said nothing like, what have I done? Oh my God. So I know I'm on the right track. I haven't tried to talk myself out of it or gotten scared to the point where I want to change it or anything. But I was sitting, before I left, I was sitting with my friend, and it was after we had went live or whatever from the restaurant we was at. And what happened was I texted a friend and said, "I'm so overwhelmed." And they said, "You don't want to go back, do you?" I said, "Not really. I'm ready to just get started." I said, "But I got to get everything tied up." So the person said, "Well, what would it take for you to get everything done and get there?" So I just started thinking, and I threw out a general number, I said about this many thousand to tie up things and this many thousand just to have something while I get established. And I would probably expect somebody to be like, "Girl, ain't nobody give you that much damn money." And I'm not accustomed to asking it. And it wasn't that I was asking, because they asked me a question and I answered it. But I'm not accustomed to, it's hard for me to say, "Hey, can I get $300? But this same exact person, if I ask for help, they help me. So I told him the numbers, and he said, "When do you move out of your apartment?" I said, "October the 29th. I'll see what I can do by then." What I do know about this person is every time they've said they were going to do something, they have come through. So I started to think about it like, I'm going back home. I don't know how much of that money he's going to give me, but I know he's going to give me some of it. So that puts less pressure on me. And I look at that as a ram in the bush when I was thinking of how am I going to do all of this in this short period of time. I think that we be so busy looking for support, we don't realize that our support is honestly just from God. He orchestrates where that support comes from. And I think when we start trying to manipulate it and create it for ourselves, then it gets muddied up, if you will. You know, a lot of times you can try to get support from somebody and end up in a situation where now that person feels you owe them. So that's why I like it to be organic, you know. Although it seems like something ain't gonna happen or you're not gonna be able to do something, there's always it's always in the bush, you know. It'll always come when you least expect it and probably from an unlikely place. It won't be because you did something. No, I ain't found no damn sugar daddy. Silly man. I'm scared of sugar daddy because they be still on that sugar and I ain't got no sugar. My sugar jar is empty for the old means. No, I didn't find a sugar daddy. It's a genuine friend, honestly. Genuine friend. I guess I can call him a family friend. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I wasn't expecting that person. I probably would have asked for something again, but it wouldn't have been that much. But shit, since you put it on the table, I'm just, you know, they said closed mouth don't get fed. Normally, I would have looked at that and been like, I don't know. Well, you know, whatever you can will be okay. I'll be grateful. And in that moment, I would have been telling a full blown lie because I know I need assistance. You know what I'm saying? So if somebody asks me, I'm going to tell the truth. Shut the hell up. I ain't say it was empty. I said I ain't got no sugar in my tank for no old people. I don't know no old people. I don't have old friends. I'm usually older than my friends all the time, or they the same age. See, you about to maybe go, listen, it was this old man I was talking to. He wasn't that old, but he was older. He like 59. Woo. That sealed the deal. Hell no. I can't mess with old people because they be having identity crisis and be trying to be young and on that hot boy. I don't get it. Like some of them, they be like established and stuff, but then on the flip side, it's like they be in this identity crisis, this midlife crisis or something. I don't know. But see, I'm 50. I'll be 51 in December. So I was thinking like, that's kind of not that old, but no, he old. And then I went to Tampa and he was partying with his Kappa brothers. And then when he came back, he was limping. I'm like, what happened to you? He told me he fell on some stairs. And then on Facebook, he told somebody something else. And I was like, see, I can't be with no old person and then they be having these brittle bones and be hurting themselves. And then they be thinking I'm abusing my old man because every week he got a broken bone. Good morning, Sicko. How you doing? Afternoon. Be like having brittle bone syndrome and just think, ugh. Let me get back to my bush story. Oh Lord. No old men for me. I cannot. No, but for real though, I think we have more support than we realize, than we know. But we don't see it because we're constantly seeking it. If you're constantly seeking for something that's right in front of you, how will you ever find it? Because you're not thinking it's right there. You're thinking it's out there, over there, here, there, and everywhere, when all the while it's been right there in that bush right next to you. How many times do we pass up on things that we need because we already have them? You know, how much further could you have been with something if you had to recognize it was already in your arsenal, but you didn't think you had it? They say everything that we have need of is already on the inside of us. So what makes us think that the tools and the things that we need to make things work. If we have everything we have need up on the inside of us, that means those tools that we need to implement those things, to do those things, is usually close at hand too. Maybe that's why they tell us to seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added unto you, according to his riches and glory. Maybe that's why they tell us to do that. Probably if we would seek him first, we wouldn't miss those things that would sit next to us or talking to us all the time on the phone. And, maybe. What if? It makes sense to me. A lot of people like to ignore things and try to say, oh, that's just a book a man wrote. But I don't care who wrote it. A man wrote every book in the world. Man, woman, or somebody. It wasn't no dog. I can tell you that. But if I read a book and it has some good, valuable lessons and tools in it, I'm not going to bash it. I'm going to apply some of that stuff. We'll take a book from Steve Harvey or somebody else and be like, yeah, that was good. Yeah, I did that. I'm going to do that. We'll take a cookbook and try a recipe. Yeah. And a lot of times we think ourselves out of things. It's easy to talk yourself out of something, but it's a whole nother thing when you think yourself out of something. You ain't even said nothing. It's just a thought in your mind. Ain't even came out your grill yet. And you done already defeated your next step all in your thoughts. It would be easy to just remember the basics, which is ask God. Show me, help me. I need this. I need that. Especially when you're doing something good. Why would he not reveal the things that you need to you? Why wouldn't he show you where you already have this? I think sometimes we be going around doing the same thing over and over and over again because that's the reason why we ain't paying attention. We missing stuff. I need support. Well, I don't want you to get support right there. I want you to dig your heels in and push hard right there. And when you push hard right there, it's going to be some support on the other side. But we spend too much time right there grasping for straws, hoping that somebody comes and give us a little push, a little boost. And we miss it. I think maybe instead of paying attention to where we lack support, we should pay attention to where we lack the wherewithal to push and work through a thing. If you're able-bodied, why not keep trying and push harder? Nothing good comes easy. Bad things come fast. That's how I look at it. Like I say, fast money ain't good money all the time. All money ain't good money. But nobody wants that, the path that we have to take to get there. We want to skip around, roll the dice, jump over, go under, take an exit over before, because the back road. If you were supposed to go on the back road, that would be part of your path. I did that on DoorDash one day. The GPS, once I picked up the order, the GPS set the order and, the directions in place. And because I know the roads, when it started to navigate me in another direction, hey, Dana, how you doing? Oh, you stopped by. I feel so honored. Now I gotta watch Tubi, buddy. But the GPS started to take me. It was taking me to the destination, but because I knew a route that I thought was quicker, I decided to go against the navigation. And lo and behold, it was a long line of traffic. Never once did I think that this navigation system knew what was ahead of me, and it was trying to direct me around it. Thank you. Yeah, share this. Buddy, we got here. No, I was kidding. Sometimes we want to take a shortcut and we shouldn't. Yes, you'll get there faster, but getting there faster may mean you miss some things. There may be many rams in the bush along the way, but because you opted out to go a way that you knew was quicker, You miss all those little important things that were left along the way for you, like a scavenger hunt in a sense. Like as you're going through, he's going to give you these tools. He's going to give you these keys. He's going to give you some challenges that you have to take and pass before you go to the next place. But if we always on our own pilot and not following the true navigation that is found in heaven, then we are bound to bump our heads and run into dead ends and have crashes and things. We miss a lot trying to take the route we want to take or going with the shortcut because we think it's faster. Faster ain't always right. You know, if you know how to cook some meat or roast or something, if you cook it too fast, you know what happened? It get done, but it be tough as hell. When all you had to do was turn it on low and let it cook super slow. Let all them juices marinate, the flavors go through it, and let it get just fall off the bone good, you know. Pull it apart with the fork. That's what we miss when we navigate our own way through our life and we be looking for things that we think we should have and we're not getting them and we don't know why. Because number one, you already have them. They're already in place, but we're not where we're supposed to be in some instances. I thought about that day when I decided to go around the other way because I thought I was going to get there quicker. I knew something else. And I realized, I said, man, there was a reason the GPS was taking me another route. It was so I wouldn't be caught up in this traffic for the next 10 minutes because I couldn't even turn around at that point. I was stuck. I think we got to pay attention to the little things, you know. Sometimes we see obstacles when it's actually protection or provision. Sometimes we think an obstacle is a setback when it's a slow you down because there's danger ahead. Sometimes we see an obstacle as the enemy trying to stop us when it's, in all reality, probably God trying to stop you. Because I promise you, if you are going into a shit show, devil ain't gonna hardly stop you. He ain't gonna hardly stop you. He gonna be like, yay, slide on down. Big dummy. Y'all know I just be in my head and I be thinking out loud. So I come on here and share with y'all. Because it get real. You know what I mean? It's easy to allow your mind to take precedence of everything. It's easy to let your thinking get in the way of your knowing. Sometimes we know, but we'll think ourselves out of what we know and start questioning it. Like you do know, because it's in there. We start operating in the know instead of I don't know, or what I'm thinking, maybe not, or what if. How much more will we accomplish? How much greater will our story be that we are actually creating along our journey? You know, we ain't on a journey for nothing. We are not on a journey for nothing. It's for a reason. That's why it's not good to take shortcuts. That's why it's good to not always think that you're supposed to have this support from particular people or spaces. Support might come from a stranger sometime, but a lot of times we'll turn it down because the stranger don't look like us. We'll turn it down because the stranger might be some man that just asked you for $5 to get something to eat. But we told him, hey, I'm hungry too. I go to work. You walk and get a job. You know, people treat people so mean, and you never know who God gonna send. You never know. You might get that person $5 and they had a word for you that would change your whole entire life. But because you didn't treat that person with the love and kindness that you expect to be treated with, guess what? You missed it. Now you running around like a bat out of hell trying to figure something out when you had a message right there No, I'm not saying go feed everybody that asks you for something, but if you have it and somebody has a need, I believe it tells us that we should give it to that person. It's not none of our business what they're going to do with it. If you're going to give, you're going to give. How was your heart when you gave? They got to deal with their motive on their end. Instead of us putting people down in those senses, what could I have possibly missed? There was a man outside the store one day, and I guess apparently he goes around to a lot of stores here, and his story is always something happened to his car and his wife and kids are in the car. He needs a fan belt, and it's 1998. And this particular day, I had my purse. It had cash in it, but I had put it in the trunk, and I had my card when I went into the Dollar General. And the man said, he told me his spiel. He needed 1998. Anything to help. And I'm like, I ain't got no money. And I just got in the car. I pulled off. Bust a right. It's a light right there. I got to the light, and I started hearing, yes, you do. I was like, no, I don't. Said, yes, you do. And in that moment, I said, I did a U-turn, went back, got in my trunk, took out $20, handed to the man. He said, thank you, God bless you. I said, God bless you too. And I left. Soon as I pulled out that parking lot, I had 2 alerts for appointments. One of them had an appointment for 2 girls, which was like $275. And then the other one was like another $125. Little stuff like that we miss. I believe wholeheartedly we release things like that when we give. It don't matter who you gave it to or why you gave it. If you gave it from a pure heart, I believe because I obeyed what I heard and I went back and made right what I knew I probably should have did in the first place, I got blessed. It happens like that. That's the law of reciprocity. Reaping and sowing. Sometimes it come back quick, sometimes it come back slow. That's why it's always good to have a giving heart. Hey, you might give somebody some money and you might reap some advice that helps you gain $5,000 in your business. It don't always come back in the same way you gave it. Or you might give somebody a good word, of encouragement. I might encourage you one day. And then you say, Mick, what you said that day really helped me, or, whatever the case may be. And the next thing you know, I reap a financial reward. So it's always good to know that a seed doesn't mean money all the time. Sometimes you're the seed. Yeah, sometimes you're the seed. I don't know how we got on that, but it had to be said apparently because it came out my mouth. I don't argue my rants. Y'all know that. I might stop and be like, why am I talking about this? But I think that's what we missing right now is nobody has any kind of compassion. Nobody has any kind of love, no grace for people, mercy. But we all want it, but we don't want to give it. I think all those things together, when we don't apply that in life, some of us become stagnant. That's why it's so easy for people to look at other people and feel like they want what they're doing or why they getting that and I ain't got it. Because they might be a giving person and you might not be. Or they might be serving the devil and you getting saved from not having to go through the hell they're going to have to pay eventually. Can't always look at others either. I don't want nothing nobody got. I know the meaning of what's for me is for me. You ever hear somebody say, God know my heart, what's for me is for me? What if what's for you ain't necessarily what you want? I was thinking about that one day, like, people, God know my heart. We don't even know our heart entirely, first of all. So You should be worried about that when you say that. That's not a pass to do what you want to do and say, oh, but he know I really got a good heart. No, that means he know every little dirty corner that you would never even know is there. So that's not a good thing to say, you know. But what's for me is for me. What if what he has for you is not nothing that you even thought about? Because we just think we know everything. What's for me is for me. I'm going to move you out of here and I'm going to put you over here. I don't want to live over here. Yep, but you're going to live over here. What's for me is for me. I don't want you to work that job. You're going to work this job. People don't understand. Like, we don't even be willing vessels. And willing vessels don't even mean you just going out to talk to people. That can mean you just willing to do exactly what you're supposed to do to the best of your ability. I try not to question life as much as I used to anymore. Because what I learned is there's a huge circle you run, and a lot of times you fall short or you lose the race. What you should have got to in 2 years, you're going to still get to it, but it's going to take you another 2. For some people, it take them another 5, and some people never get there because they give up, because they don't recognize what they did or did not do. So I try to just stay focused and keep an open mind and an open heart so that when those downloads come, I'm not ignoring them like I used to maybe say 10 years ago. I've learned that the thing that you think you should be doing that sounds the most strange is probably the thing you should be doing. Don't make sense to you. Those things that don't make sense to you are usually the things that hold major keys. The thing that don't make sense to everybody else definitely holds major keys. I'm glad I got a little, I don't know, I had a little fire in me, because if I thought about what things look like to other people, I would have folded at my mom. Because when she said, you're going to move there and you ain't going to make it and you're going to have to come back. Because my question was, can we come stay with you until I get moved to Cleveland? I don't know. Let me think about it. When she told me that, I went and turned in my 30-day notice. She don't understand. I don't understand, but I know I got to turn in this 30-day notice. And I did that. Because what I said was, well, even if she don't let me stay there, I know them kids going to get to stay. I'll find somewhere to stay. So I moved out, put my stuff in storage. We stayed there. Then I went there. I ain't understand. I ain't had nowhere to stay. But because I had made a relationship with the person I was working with, a friendship or whatever, whatever it was, friends with benefits, here nor there. Man, I was hustling. My friend, my cousin, she worked at a hotel, and she was finessing the system. Instead of giving me the friends and family, most nights I stayed for free. She just made sure that, she moved me around accordingly. So for the first few months, I stayed in the hotel free of charge. Sometimes I would stay in the, sometimes she would have to take a couple days before she did it again. So I would stay in the back, in the office, in the salon. I think I told y'all that. And just pop up at 5 o'clock in the morning going hard. But then it's like, I got everything I needed. I had in 90 days, a car, a place to live. And I was making like $2,000 a week in 90 days. I wouldn't have never thought I would have had to go through those little hoops and obstacles, because naturally I'm not staying in no shop, But those are the things that let me know that whenever I make moves now, I don't ever have to do it that way again. I've done the lowest of the low in that sense. That's how I look at it. When I move now, I don't have to go lower than where I am now to live. I can stay on the same playing ground, or I can go higher because I expect more. But what I learned in all of that journey, had I listened to my mom and not gone, when my mother got dementia, and couldn't be the support that I was used to, couldn't help me like she used to, I would have been messed up. I wouldn't have known what to do. Because I was very independent, but I was very dependent. And I was intentionally, I was dependent on purpose because there was no way in the world I was making bread back then. Effing over all that money just because I knew my mother was going to do it. So when she got sick, it was like, oh, I was glad that I did those things. Because what it did was taught me that, first of all, I didn't know how to take care of myself at like 31 years old. I had to grow up. I thought I was grown because of my age, but it was a whole lot of stuff I didn't know. I didn't know how to take care of me. First and foremost, had to learn how to take care of me. Boom, I got it. Wait a minute now, what about these kids that you think is your brother and sister? It's no longer, I just got to throw them a couple dollars. I got to take care of these kids. I learned how to be mama. They always knew me as mama, but we really function and live like siblings. So I had to learn how to take care of my kids. All this was preparation to the day when my mother was totally unable to help me. To today that she's no longer here. Had I not gone through that process and my mother passed away, where would I have been? She didn't understand it. It looked crazy to her. But all I knew was I had to do it. When I think about that now, I'm like, man, had I not bust that move back then, when my mom got sick, I would have been screwed up. I'm not saying I wouldn't have gotten it, but I think it took all that time, because she didn't get sick right away when I moved, but I had to go. I did well. 4 years, then I came here. I came here doing well. Been doing well. 15 years. I tell y'all, when I was younger, like when I was in Cleveland, the one thing I couldn't do was keep a bank account. You remember back in the day when you could put your GPS? I mean, no GPS. Lord have mercy, I drive too much. When you could put your credit card, or what is it? Debit card into the ATM, and you got that $500 limit. But remember back in the day, I don't know if y'all know, but if you said you want to do another transaction, you could pull another 500, as long as you didn't close out that transaction. Listen, child. Call me $1,000 Betty. I screwed up so many bank accounts, but I didn't understand the concept of money like that. So I made a lot of dumb mistakes when I was younger. That's why I said if I knew then what I know now, I would be sitting pretty. I have, man, I have handled much money and money that I earned. I've handled much money. And ain't nothing I can do about it now, so that's why I don't even harp on it. But I just recognize what I didn't know then, and now I'm doing those things, or to the best of my ability, and continuing to learn. But I would say, like, since I've been in Charleston, boom, I done kept my bank account. Like, I ain't never had a bank account that I kept. 14 years. Man, I'm proud of my little Navy Federal. Like, that thing is like a milestone for me because I know how I used to be. How I used to be was not good with bank accounts. So for me, that hold a bank account was like, oh my God. For me to be able to get an apartment and not have to have somebody to sign for me, that changed when I got here. For me to maintain my own household and not have help from my mother, all that changed here. So my growth is amazing. I'm here for it. But I'm not, I would never act like I had it all together or even like I got it all together now, but I learned, Yes, a struggle will make you learn a lesson. I have many lessons that I have learned. Now, the biggest thing is now to apply those lessons and not put myself back into those corners that I used to go in at my own hand. If I avoid those corners, then I know how to fight out of the other corners that I'm not responsible for. Because we all get backed into a corner sometimes. It's just a little test, And we'll say that, oh, it's just a test. It's just a test. and then turn around and still felt it. Guilty. That was me. It is me sometimes still. And I get frustrated as hell when I fail a test and know I done felt it. I remember the dude used to always F with me at work, the barbershop. One day he told me he's gonna call his girlfriend on me to beat my A. I said, so you're gonna call your girlfriend and you're gonna tell her, hey, come beat this girl up. I tried to holler at her and she wouldn't holler back at me. Okay, I want to get your girlfriend slapped around a few times. Call her. He didn't like that. He was mad. One day he called me the devil. No, he didn't call me the devil that day. He said something else and I cussed him out really bad. And after the fact, I said, man, you let him win. You failed the test, sure. You failed it royally because you weren't supposed to cuss him out. You were supposed to handle, what they say, handle it with meekness. Turn the other cheek. But at that time, I wasn't thinking about that being strength. Most people think about it being weak. The next time, this dude would poke me. The next time he came, he said something. I said something. Then I thought about it. I said, hold up. He's back. He's trying it again. You know what? You think you better than everybody. Okay. Whatever. Came back. I know what your problem is. You are the devil. I said, Satan, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. He looked at me like, huh? He went to say something else. No weapon formed against me shall be able to prosper. He looked at me again, and he just turned around and walked away. I said, yeah, devil. I got you, didn't I? Thought you were going to get me again, didn't you? Boy, I was happy. Everybody in the shop was looking at me like I was crazy. I said, but what y'all missed is how I defeated the devil right in y'all face, and y'all looking at me like I did something, fool. You better know your opponent and how to fight it. It ain't always in the cussing, because you see, the cussing him out didn't work. I thought because I was little in stature, I had to be big in my voice. Motherfucker, you ain't so bad. All they did was look at me like I'm crazy, and all he did was come back. Well, some of them was like, I ain't gonna mess with you. Please don't. I got too many tools over here that I don't want to use. Leave me alone. But I'm just saying, we get tests all the time and we fail them. So I guess if anything I can say today, it would definitely be try not to miss what you already have next to you, whether it's support, a lending hand, a listening ear, whatever it is, Try not to fall into a habit of missing the mark because you overlook a direction that you see plain as day, but because you thought you knew a quicker way. Try not to fall into those traps. Sometimes the navigation is going to be always right, because I've had navigation drop me off at the wrong house, right address, wrong street. But sometimes, most times, it's going to be right. Try not to think so hard as to what you're going to do, and think more about asking God what he wants you to do. Because there's a difference. What you want to do, he going to let you do. But what he wants you to do might not be what you want to do. Or he might want you to do what you want to do, but he might have a whole strategy for it. But because you didn't consult, he just sat there and waited till you came back. And I don't know, be just grateful for your journey. Don't try to sidestep, go around, duck, dodge. Just go for the ride, because in the end, number one, there's going to be beauty in it. Number two, there's so much that you gain and learn along the way. I think it was that video that Selena showed the other day with a allegedly homeless man was like going through a certain just talking to the young guys and was talking about the journey, how so many people want it fast, but it's about the journey. That's a real thing. It's about the journey. Why we don't want the journey? You want to be able to tell somebody, I woke up one day and I wanted to get a house, and then 3 years later, but I had it. No, I want to be able to say, when I first started, I was doing hair in the house. Then I got my license. Then I decided I wanted to go to school, and I went to school. Then I wanted to go back to hair school, and then I met my kid's father, and I had. I mean, it's a story to tell. Your story is for somebody. Why we want a short story when we supposed to have a long novel? It's supposed to be exciting. It's supposed to be fun. We're not supposed to cut out the parts we don't want. We're supposed to go through them so we can gain our strength. It's kind of like playing Pac-Man when he gets the power pellet and gains his strength and start eating up all the ghosts. That's like, to me, that's the equivalence of the importance of your journey. So you don't miss your power pellets, so that you stay strong in your journey and continue to navigate in good strength with a clear mind, so that we don't bump our head as much as we normally do, or as much as we would if we weren't in the proper position. Sometimes I think, if I had to say, it's always in the bush. You might be the one that's in the bush. Pop out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just saying, y'all, I don't know. I just think that a lot of what we have is what we need, and what we think we don't have, we already have. It's right there. You just have to reassess everything and ask yourself, what am I actually asking for? What am I actually looking for? Because you can ask for something and get it in many different forms. You go to the Mexican restaurant and you say, hey, I want a strawberry margarita. What they going to ask you? Frozen or on the rocks? We also have peach, watermelon, mango. It's so many ways you can get something. But if we ain't willing to do those things and go through that process, we put ourselves out of position for a lot of things. We got to get in position. That is, if you want something out of life, if you have an expectation of gaining something or obtaining something, you have to get in position. If you're not in position, if you're running around being messy and in other people's mess, you're out of position. If what's going on down the street is more important than what's going on inside of your home, you're out of position. Yeah. And it's very easy to be out of position and not realize you're out of position. So you got to walk it slow, man. Walk that journey slow. Don't hurry through. Don't hurry through. That's why I was telling y'all the other day. I said I had to have a reassessment last Sunday. Like, okay, if I get out of position, God, help me now, because it's going down. So I feel good, Yeah, I get a little weepy a lot, but that's cool. That doesn't kill my excitement or my drive to do better than I've been doing, to be the next level of great in my life. That's my goal, is to keep adding greatness, becoming greater. And that's greater, not to everybody, but greater to who I'm supposed to be great to, First of all, myself. I'm always be greater for myself, but I'm just saying, like, if there's somebody that is supposed to benefit from my greatness, that's the people I want to impact. I don't care about nobody else. It ain't for them. Then we say that was for you, it's for you. It ain't for you. Pop off. I really want everybody that comes across my page to just know that we have the ability to do anything that we put our mind to. Anything we touch, we can do it. You just have to stay in a good space, And that's why I like to try to stay positive at all times. And have a little fun, joke and laugh and all that good stuff. But nevertheless, just being, I guess this page can be a support. I support anybody who wants to be better in life. I support anybody who wants to operate in more love and less hate. Yeah, I think that's what the Meek Talk is about today. Thankful for that. And it's at 55 minutes and I fizzled. That's when I know I'm done. When it's done, it's done. There's nothing else to say. You're supposed to shut up. Unless it's miscellaneous chat. Yeah. So I think that I've said everything that I came to say today. I hope that something I said resonates with anybody that was here today, anybody that may come after for the replay. I thank everybody that came through that I did see in the chat. DJ Memphis, Atmosphere Guy, Dana J. Listen, it warms my heart when I see any of my people, Sikkim, any of my people that come over here and show a little love from our Kelly sector is always like exciting because there's good people over there too. I don't try to come in contact with bad people, but I got my faves, and both of my faves have come to my page now. I feel happy. And yeah, y'all know, like I said, I'm just here to rant. And if something comes out of this rant that helps, thank you, Atmosphere, then I've done my job, because I tell you at the end of this live, when I click off, I have helped myself. This is how I work my way through what I'm trying to navigate through. Push play and talk. Have a little Meek Talk. Like TED Talk. It's Meek Talk. It's my talk. And I don't mind sharing that with the world, apparently, because this is YouTube. And Young Rhea shared my videos, so I think I qualify for the world now. I love Young Rhea. Be like, yeah, because in my culture, and I think that, maybe that when we come together, I mean, like, take a breath, Young Rhea, take a breath. Put a comma in there. You don't have commas over there. Take a break, pause. Oh, let me quit. Young Riaz, if you listen to this, that was pure love and comedy. I love the way you talk. It just tickles me. But yeah, I think it was a pretty cool talk. I managed to stay out of, I don't know. I guess I'll listen to it when I go back. Because, I tell y'all, when you're talking, it's like blank, 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 blank. Support, blank, 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 Bush, blank, 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 blank. Hey, Atmosphere, blank, 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 blank. That's exactly what it sounds like as it's going out, honestly. But I know that if it was laid upon my heart to push play and talk, then I said something. Yeah. So I'm going to go because I think Selena is going to come on. I think her thing is 1:00. So I don't know if she pushed back because she saw me, and I don't want to hold. I was trying to do this in the time to get done at 1:00. So I'm not going to go past 15 minutes past 1. I'm going to get off and yield the floor to my sister if she is waiting to come. And yeah, I love y'all so much. Thank you so much for showing up to my page today and listening to my Meek Talk. I appreciate you guys so much. And I love you with the love of the Lord. No, I'm just kidding. Let me quit playing. All right, y'all. I got to go. Love you. Bye.